And what's the motherfucking deal, YouTube? This your boy, Coach Dante, in the motherfucking building today. And I got, like I say, a special guest, man. Man is a pretty great person, man. Great personality, fun. I was on his show representing the Houston Texans. This guy just hit the 500 subscribers, man. Rams fan. Went to the Super Bowl against went to the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots. They end up failing, but it was a great season, man. Come back, think they make the playoffs, lose to the Green Bay Packers. I believe they lose to the Green Bay Packers in a heartbreaking fashion. Team Sean McVay, one of the best young coaches in the game. Todd Gurley fell off the face of the earth, but they got a great running back room and still as well. They got an upgrade at the quarterback position that I feel. But y'all show some love to the one and only, my boy. Payo time, man. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach Dante. Thank you. It's so good to be on your show. Big fan of you. And honestly, man, like from that, when our first collab over on my channel, I just knew you were a dude that loves talking football as much as I do. So when you gave me the invitation, I was like, absolutely, I want to go on your channel.
Man, it's an honor to have you on. What's up, Andre? What's good, my
What's up,
boy?
Andre?
Make sure you show some love to my boy, Payo time, man. My boy, he's a Rams fan. Any questions y'all want to ask him? He's a Rams fan. We would definitely get to the questions, man. But anyway, tell the people where they can follow you at, man.
Yeah. So main thing, my channel, Payo Time, just like it's spelled out there, Payo time, and it's all about I mainly focus on the LA Rams, but I do
Hmm.
like all NFL teams. I love talking football. You
Hmm.
can find me on Twitter and Instagram as well, but I focus mainly on my YouTube channel, trying to build that right now.
Okay, okay. So I say again, shout out to my boy, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to him, man. Just hit that big 500 subs, man.
Thank
I'm
you.
very proud of him, man. He's an up and coming man, and I expect big things from the Rams this year. So other than
Mhm.
that, first topic we gonna get into. So last year you come off a heartbreaking second round defeat against the Green Bay Packers, and I can see it by your face. Yeah, it didn't look good. So again, I mean, do you consider the Green Bay Packers? Do you consider that loss as a terrible loss? I mean, as a expectations that you wanted to achieve, but the main thing about it, who do you blame for that L in Green Bay? Who's to blame for the struggles for the Rams? Who do you blame for that?
Honestly, it's one of those things that I have to give credit where credit's due. Green Bay outplayed us.
Yeah.
Now the Rams in that second half did have a chance to come back in that game. Unfortunately, we were just a banged up team. We had
Hmm.
some injuries on the O line. Aaron Donald, our best player, had a rib injury that you could tell was limiting his snaps in that game, and I really think that the Packers did a good job of game planning Devontae Adams away from Jalen Ramsey that game,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so that if you like give credit to the Packers, they game planned well and they executed well. Rams definitely had a shot to win it. It just because I think we got it within one score in the top of the fourth quarter, but then the Packers were able to score once more to kind of put the game away. And Jared Goff, he didn't play terrible by any means, but
Yeah.
Jared Goff definitely he didn't. There were other quarterbacks that could have maybe done some
Yeah.
things to get us back in a game like that, and unfortunately, that just wasn't Jared Goff's one of his highlight games. I did not think it was going to be our last time seeing Jared Goff in a Rams uniform. I was shocked when
Yeah.
this I'll never forget it. January 31st,
Yeah.
2021, when the Rams traded for Stafford, and yeah, it was a heartbreaking loss, but still a great season, and we got to beat our rival, Seattle in the playoffs, so that's always a good time.
Oh yeah. So you gotta the first question that someone wanted to ask you come from my boy Andre, who's always asking questions.
Yeah. So you're saying, Andre, shout out to you. Thanks for the question. He's saying, how will the Akers injury impact the Rams offense? This is a great question. I think that you have to remember Cam Akers was, super hot at the end of last year.
Yeah, I remember him.
The Rams don't get better because we
Mm-hmm.
lost Cam Akers.
Yeah,
Now, we do have a very capable running back in Darrell Henderson, who is also underrated. Who, like, if you actually look at it, Darrell Henderson probably had a better season last year. Akers just had a couple of games that he really went off. Henderson, though, like very much, he's a high speed guy. Really looking forward to seeing him this season. He's the starter. They've already said he's not going to play in the preseason at all. And then we do have some unproven running back talent, like in Xavier Jones, Otis
okay.
Anderson, Jake Funk. And none of them have taken an NFL snap before, so that is a question mark. But I think that what I'm nervous about is I know Darrell Henderson can pass protect. I'm not sure if any of those other young backs can. And Cam
Mm-hmm.
Akers, he was a good pass protector as well. So with Sean McVay, that's the big thing. He doesn't like putting backs in there who don't know how to pass protect. So
Yeah.
I think at the beginning of the season, we'll see a healthy dose of Darrell Henderson. But as the season progresses, I expect more of a running back by committee.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I thought it was always kind of like that last year, like you said. To Cam Akers really came on fire. That man really got on fire last year. He was one of my favorite backs in the league, man. Cam Akers out of Florida State was very good catching the ball, running the ball. Against that playoff game against Seattle, I thought he was very good in that playoff game versus the Seattle Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
What's good? Duke Brothers was good. Make sure y'all sub up to my boy Peril Time, man. He just hit that 500 subscribers. This is a Rams fan, man. Y'all hit him up if y'all want a great collab, man. What's good, Bird Game? Bird Game. Shout out to you at part of the 300 Club. Y'all hit my boy
Yeah.
Peril Time up, man. If y'all want to collab with him or hit him up, man. Y'all just hit my boy up, man. This man knows his stuff. He's a Rams fan. Yeah, like I say, man, Cam Akers was emerging to one of the pretty good backs in the league, young good backs in the league. Y'all kind of lost some late season games that I wasn't okay with, like that game against the Jets. Don't know what happened in that.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know what happened in
Oh, why are
that
you
game.
bringing this up to me, coach?
Hey,
Okay, okay,
I
okay.
just had to. I didn't mean. Go ahead.
Let me give you a story here, okay? Um, so that game,
Yeah.
I was at my parents' house watching it, and the whole game, like that was one of Jared Goff's worst games of his career. Like I don't know, and I'll give credit to the
Yeah.
Jets. Their
Yeah.
defense played a good game, but like there were several points in that game where you felt the Jets were handing the Rams the game, and Jared Goff just couldn't do anything. And you're like, what are you doing? And there was so much. And so I remember I had all my friends trash talking me and sending me the hate. And all of them were like asking, they're like, are you okay? Like, I'm joking, but like I know this loss might actually hurt. And it did. And so my first video that I actually posted, it, it was the Rams fan reaction to the Jets loss, and I made it for my friends. And
hmm
I posted it, and it got like 5,000 views. And I'm like, what? And I got like 30 subs from it, and I'm like, what? So that's actually how I got started on
Yeah.
YouTube. So I guess I can thank the Jets for that.
Oh my goodness, that was one of the worst losses I seen, man. Like I
Oh,
said, didn't nobody go and pick the Jets to even win that game, going they
heartbreaker.
but they fought hard on defense, man. They and like I say, they literally gave a game away the following week. The week before, they literally gave the game away against Oakland. Against
Yeah.
Oakland, when they should have won that game. And then they come in LA and beat the Rams and outplay the Rams, and that's just frustrating right there. But again, like I say, man, I got the Rams making it to NFC Championship. I'm stroll up to one of these comments. I believe that was the Duke brother said that. I'm gonna go up to a comment what he said, and like I said, I basically said the same thing again, man. I think the Rams is on par with the Tampa Bay
Mhm.
Buccaneers. They just the Rams would give me the quarterback situation is such of an upgrade. I mean, like I said again, no disrespect to Jared Goff, but I mean, you got a quarterback that's been throwing over 4,000 yards every single season with a bad football team. You can say that he only had Calvin Johnson, but again, they didn't have nobody else besides that guy. That guy right there. And then Calvin Johnson retires. He still throws over. He has a 5,000 yard season with a bad team. So just imagine coming in this predicament with all these weapons. One of the best slot receivers in the game in Cooper Cup.
Mhm.
Robert Woods, who does his job effectively. Then you got Tyler Higbee, who's just a menace out there at the tight end spot. Really like that combination in that defense. That defense is so good. The only thing people question is the linebacker. So I want to get your take on the linebackers. How do you feel about your linebacker situation?
Yeah, so the question of the Rams linebacking core is valid, just because there's a lot of unknown names there. The biggest name is Leonard Floyd,
Yeah, I mean,
who the Rams re-signed this year, which I think was a good signing. Um, the biggest thing I think about, like, they drafted Ernest Jones, who some Ram fans think has a shot at starting. I don't. I think that we have some other young linebackers. The one I'm highest on is a guy named Kenny Young, who the
mm-hmm.
Rams traded for from the Ravens when we traded Marcus Peters to him. But he's a young player who he's had some big plays, but you feel he's ready to be a starter. And the Rams are actually the youngest team in football, and our defense is definitely the youngest,
Yeah.
average age of 24. But
Okay.
most of those players are in their second or third year within our system. And the Rams have just done a great job developing talent under the Sean McVay era. So I really think this linebacking core is underrated. And unless you're paying attention to the Rams, you're not going to know their names. But just, wait and see. Wait and see.
Y'all heard my boy Parrot. He said, "Wait and see, man." Like I say, again, the Rams are going to be one of the best teams in the NFC. Man, ain't too many people going to beat the Rams. Ain't going to beat Tampa Bay like that. That's the only team I really got in the NFC that can compete with these guys. They're good across the board. I mean, that defensive line. Oh my God, Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, like you said, is very very good. Jalen Ramsey is just a menace out there on the outside. The way he hit Golden Tate last year, I believe that's who it was who he hit. Who he just did a wrestling move all of a sudden on. I mean that was pretty good. That was pretty decent right there, man. But like I said, I'm very high on these rounds, man. And just because I'm happy to see Matthew Stafford have that he's gonna have success. And but like I say, it's nothing's gonna come easy. Y'all in the toughest division in football. So how do you think you stack up against this division right here?
Well, I love to say it this way, that the NFC West is just one big
Yeah,
dysfunctional family.
yeah,
And if you look at the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and the Niners, this division stacks up well against each other.
yeah,
And if you look at the rest of the NFC, it stacks up well against it. And
yeah,
like the AFC right now, I think has a lot more teams in win now mode than the
yeah.
NFC. The NFC has a couple more teams that are in kind of that rebuilding stage.
Okay.
Because outside of the NFC West, it's the Bucks, Packers, and Vikings that like would say have a Super Bowl window.
Yeah.
So the NFC West, they're definitely, I think it's going to come down to the wire. In week 18, you have the Rams taking on the Niners and you have the Seahawks taking on the Cardinals. And it wouldn't shock me
Mm,
if this was a division that actually came down to that. And with
yeah.
the rest of the NFC, looking the way that it does, it's not mathematically impossible for all four of these teams to make the playoffs, given that there's three wild card teams now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Highly improbable, but
Yeah.
definitely like possible.
Yeah.
Um, I think that um to kind of go through each team quickly, the Cardinals have a brutal first 8 weeks.
Mm,
If you look at the
yeah.
Cardinal schedule, it's just this brutal. So I don't think it's out of the question for them
Yeah.
to start off like 4-4, or like probably like 4-4, or even like as bad as 2-6. Like it's
Yeah.
not ridiculous for that to happen. Um,
Yeah.
and if the Cardinals get off to that bad of a start, there's a chance that Cliff Kingsbury gets fired. He's a coach on the hot
Mm,
seat.
okay. Okay.
So I think the Cardinals are a talented team.
Mm-hmm.
However, coaching will always be the criticism of that team, and
Yeah.
they definitely have a very suspect secondary.
Yeah.
So the Cardinals, the other thing about the Cardinals is they've never beaten the Rams as long as Sean McVay has been the head coach. Sean McVay's
Yeah. That's
never
yeah.
lost the Cardinals ever, and he played them twice a year, right?
Yeah.
So the Cardinals do not scare me. I think
Okay.
that they're a talented team, and there is a case for them to win the division. But that case is Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, your boy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think unless those two really go off, and Christian Kirk, he's a good receiver that no one
Yeah.
talks about on that team as well. And Larry Legend, he's there. And they got AJ Green. So
Yeah.
unless that offense really bails them out, they don't really have, you know, this
They're gonna
defense.
be, and they also gonna be missing a key piece on that defense is Chandler Jones. He wants to be traded too, so they're gonna be missing a key piece on that defense. On that defensive
Yeah,
side.
I it'll be curious to see what happens with Chandler Jones, but
Yes.
yeah, so the Cardinals, I just think they might fall out of the division race
Okay.
pretty quick because of the start of their schedule.
Okay.
Um, the Seahawks, even most Seahawks fans will tell you they ride or died with Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Now I would also say DK Metcalf has enough respect as a top tier receiver that
Mm-hmm.
you always have to keep him in check. Lockett's no joke either. Ben Carson, I, I'm or Chris Carson, sorry. Chris Carson at running back, he's not like this elite running back, but he's very capable. And so the question will be, can Jamal Adams in that defense really turn it on?
Yeah.
And I think if you look at their team stacked up compared to the Rams will be able to take on the Seahawks this year. I
Mm-hmm.
think I think all the NFC West games will be good, hard fought games. But
Yeah.
out of all the teams, the team I'm going to talk about last are the team that kind of gets me kind of nervous. And that's the San
Yeah.
Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
that's a well coached team. You have Jimmy G, who's a proven winner when he's healthy.
Yeah.
And if he's not healthy, you have this huge question mark in the rookie they traded up to get,
Yeah.
Trey Lance,
Mm-hmm.
who has been lighting it up at training camp, and that guy can clearly spin the ball. Personally, I'd rather a rookie quarterback start than Jimmy G.
Okay.
But at the same time, Jimmy G is a winner, and the Niners have had the
Mm-hmm.
Rams number. We haven't beaten them in 2 seasons. So we're on a 4-game
Ooh.
losing
Dang.
streak. So we got to end that. We got to end that this year.
Yeah, y'all
Um,
lost a late one at home last year. Y'all lost a
yeah,
late
we
one
lost to Nick Mullins. We
at
lost to stinging Nick Mullins.
home.
I can't believe
Well,
we
y'all
lost to
had some
Nick
quarterbacks
Mullins.
to beat y'all, huh?
I honestly, when I saw that, I don't know where Nick Mullins is now, but I saw that
He
the
with the
Niners
Eagles.
didn't re-sign him.
He with the Eagles. He with the Eagles now.
Oh, good. Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
He could stay there. I never want to play Nick Mullins ever again. He just decides
Hey,
to
my
light it up
goodness.
against the Rams anyway.
Oh,
But no, San Fran though,
go
like they
ahead.
have Bosa on the defense, who's a beast of a defensive end.
Yeah, yeah.
Fred Warner, probably the best linebacker in football right now. The Niners do have questionable depth at their secondary,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's somewhere where I think if a team could hog the ball against the Niners, that then the Niners, their power run game first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
still have
Right.
Brandon Ayuk in the passing game, but like I think if you're a team that can hog the ball against the Niners, that's how you
Yeah.
beat them. They're not going to necessarily be a team that it plays well from trailing behind, but they're going to be a team, if they have a lead going into the fourth quarter, they're going to be able to protect it.
Yeah, like I say, man, I agree with all your takes for this NFC West division. I say they look like the Cardinals, they're gonna have a dynamic offense, but this defense is gonna be suspect.
Yeah.
AJ Green, when if he can ever stay healthy, everybody know what type of receiver he can come out to be. He's a top 5 receiver in this game when he's healthy. DeAndre Hopkins, I don't know what he's gonna do. He's gonna threaten retirement. Is he gonna be retired? I just don't know. So it's a question mark right there. They just lost. They about to lose Chandler Jones. They about to lose him. So I say he just demanded a trade. Nah, I just it's the questions all on this team So like I say, Arizona, I just don't think Kyler Murray gotta show some a little bit more improvement than what he did last year.
Mhm.
That team started off real hot last year. That team was real hot last year. They slumped at the ended on the year. So like I say, I don't pose them as no threat to the Los Angeles to the Rams. I don't pose them as too much of a threat. The Seahawks, they always built around Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson basically is the savior of the franchise of them. What Russell Wilson do, that's what they do. Like it's like if everything built around Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson takes the Seahawks far if he goes that far. Russell Wilson can just take you far. That's only that team goes as far as Russell Wilson takes them. That's just what about that team. The defense, ever since the Legion of Boom, has definitely declined. That's definitely declined. So it's no more of that. The Texans put up almost 40 up on them the last time we played them. Put up down than 40 points on them last time. And then we got the San Francisco 49ers again. I'm not it's kind of something about their offense that doesn't make me excited, that doesn't make me
Yeah.
scared of. But that defense is very good. Frank, like you said, Frank Warner, that defensive line, that defense is very scary to play. But it's just Jimmy G is a proven winner. But like I say, he's in a contract. He's gonna get traded anyway it goes. He's gone anyway it goes out of San Francisco. This is definitely a make or break season for this guy. For right now, you can say he's playing for value for right now. That's what he's
Mhm.
doing. Trey's one more. It'll be just a matter of time for Trey Lance get that starting quarterback spot. It's just a matter of time. One injury, one struggle game away, then it'll be Trey Lance's job right then and there. So like I said again, I think you guys got the top. You guys are very good across the board. So is it any team you're scared of in the NFC period? Like, is it any team at each division that you afraid of, and how many teams that you're afraid of in this NFC?
Yeah. So again, I think the Rams are a team that can beat anyone. Um, but
Yep.
obviously there are talented teams, and we were humbled by losing to the Jets last year. So anyway,
No.
I think that the teams that probably concern me the most are the Packers and
Okay.
the Bucks for sure.
Yeah.
I will say this against the Bucks. People forget we beat them good last year. Like we
Yeah.
beat them real good, and a large part of that
Yeah.
is Aaron Donald and our secondary, right? Because we have
Yeah.
a secondary that can keep up with their receivers. So Brady, Brady makes a lot of his money off of his quick release, right?
Yeah.
Whether he's throwing it down and like he's dropping back 3 or 5 step drops, he releases it so fast with such velocity, right? It's
Okay.
that's a large part of Brady's game, especially later in his career. And I think that having a guy like Aaron Donald who can
Yeah.
collapse the pocket fast,
Yep. You ain't lying
that
about that.
that is something that the Bucks don't necessarily have the interior line to defend him. The Bucks are no joke at offensive line, and they have a
Mm-hmm.
good running game. They have a good receiving core. But when we have corners and safeties and linebackers who can cover them, like the Rams have a lot of linebackers who are good in coverage. It's kind of a bread and butter of their defense.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think we're a team that's well equipped to stop the Bucks offense. And so then it's a matter of if their defense can stop our offense and keep it to a close game. But no, I think that Bucks game in SoFi Stadium, Rams are going to get out to a lead, and they're going to keep that lead.
Okay.
Probably going to be
Okay.
closer than the game last year, but I think that the Rams will take care of business with the Bucks. Now, I will say this
Okay.
about the Packers, though.
Okay.
The Packers, I think they're a talented team. They've gone
Yeah.
13-3 in back-to-back years. Like, credit to that. However, they're also a team that might be due for some regression.
Mm-hmm.
They have some players that are older. It to have Rodgers play at an MVP level in back-to-back seasons, not totally crazy, but it is a high expectation.
Yeah.
And I just think that if the Packers start losing games, that
Mm-hmm.
locker room is more fragile than people give
Yeah.
credit
Yeah.
to. Like with
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
that went down, and
Yeah.
it definitely seems like the locker room is on Rodgers' side.
Yeah.
But if they have a couple of games where they lose, I think that locker room isn't
Yeah.
like the greatest environment because like
Oh
at some
nah.
point the players on the team that aren't like the superstar players, they
Mm-hmm.
have to be like, dude, like show up to camp. Like stop
Yeah.
leaving cryptic message on Instagram and messing with the
Yeah.
fans because like my family's asking me about you and I don't know your situation. Like at some point the locker room like that stuff builds up, right? And
Yeah.
I'm
Oh yeah.
sure like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
all be good if they win, but if they lose, I think that
Oh
locker
yeah,
room is
you
very
will hell
fragile.
yeah. That locker room definitely gonna implode, especially Aaron Rodgers putting everything out there in the press conference. You can still tell by his reactions and stuff, they still ain't on the best of page on the
Yeah.
they still ain't on the same page. Even with them not paying Devontae Adams, they come out and saying they're not paying Devontae Adams, and which is I do deserve he needs to get his money, but number one wide receiver money, you can kind of question that a little bit. Before the Packers should be able to pay him for how much he's definitely hands down one of the top three receivers in this league. So you right about that, man. If they start losing any type of game, I guarantee you, if they start off the season slow, don't be surprised, like you said, if that locker room starting to affect and implode, and you'll start hearing it all over the world, like ESPN and stuff, that something is not actually going right. Again, like Aaron Rodgers' frustration with the organization and his frustration of being releasing his friend Jay Kumaro. He already came out and he discussed that in the press conference already. He and then like I say that front office just ain't on the same page at all. And what's good, my boy Eagles on Uncensored, man. I got my
So,
boy, my Rams fan, Peril Time right here, man. My Rams guy. Make sure you hit him with that sub, man. And he's a great guy to collab with, man. So you might want to have him on the show, man. I went to his show and now he coming to return the favor. But anyway, yeah, the Packers could be scary also because Aaron Rodgers still playing at that MVP level. And that
mhm.
Devontae Adams is really, really good too, man. That running game, Aaron Jones, he's pretty decent
Yeah.
out there. But like I said again, man, I really love the Rams, man. I just love the way they're built, their coaching Sean McVay. The worst thing that the best thing that could ever happen is Jeff Fisher getting the hell away from the organization. How did that feel? Yeah, I want you to tell me how did that actually feel of letting Jeff Fisher go? How did you? Well, I'm gonna take it way back. How did you feel about the hire when he first got hired, and how did you feel about when he got fired?
Oh, you're gonna make me relive this, coach. Okay.
Yeah,
All
got
right.
it. I gotta hear it.
No, all good, good fun. So I'll be honest. The Rams. So Coach Jeff Fisher, he took over a team that was pretty talent depleted. From Steve Spagnuolo, who Steve Spagnuolo, give him credit. He's been a great defensive coordinator for the Chiefs and the Giants. He actually has 3 Super Bowl rings as a DC. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so but as head coach of the Rams, it just Sam Bradford was always injured. Like it just that was in that era. So Jeff Fisher came in, and I'll admit, because we had just had 2 previous head coaches who were like the up and coming coordinator or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
so Jeff Fisher had taken a year out of football being a long tenured coach from the Titans.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, you know what? We get a proven head coach who he had to compete with Peyton Manning. I was one of the Ram fans that always said like he had to have his whole career with Peyton Manning in the same division. He did pretty good, like with Kerry Collins and Steve Young, Steve McNair, Eddie George. And I joke, I'm like, he
Yeah.
technically already
Yeah.
coached the Rams to a Super Bowl in '99 when he was
Yeah.
losing to them.
Yeah, because that Rams my favorite team back then. That was a very good Rams team. Yeah,
Yeah, great show on turf.
Ricky Pro. I mean
Yeah,
Marshall Fall,
yeah.
Isaac Bruce, Torrey
Orlando
Holt,
Pace, yeah.
Orlando Pace. What's that? The corner. Williams. Williams
Yeah.
outside. Yeah, I remember that team. I remember that squad. I definitely.
And so when Jeff Fisher got hired, I'll fully admit to I was stoked. There was apparently a bidding war to hire him between the Dolphins and the Rams, and I was like, dude, this is gonna be awesome. We got this proven veteran head coach, and quickly in the first year, I lost faith in him. And I remember when I
Oh, he
lost.
lost faith in the first year.
Yeah, no, I remember the day I lost faith in Jeff Fisher as a head coach. And Fisher's a nice guy. I actually think Fisher, if he got the chance to be a GM, he could maybe be a good GM.
Mm-hmm.
But as a head coach, we were playing the Patriots over in England, and the
Mm-hmm.
first drive of the game, we scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
And we got a 2-point conversion, and we went up 8-0. And I was like, yeah, let's beat the stinking Pats. Let's do it. And then the rest of the game downhill, we lost 40, I think it was 45-8. And what frustrated me to no end is after the game, Jeff Fisher in his press conference, to this day, I get ticked off about this. He said, yes, the reality is, that was a good first drive, but the reality is we didn't have very high expectations to win this game. We're not built to beat a team this good. How are you a head coach of a team if you have that mindset?
Yeah.
Like, is that not the dumbest thing a head coach could say after a loss like that?
I know about. I'm a coach myself. You don't go into any game if you're a coach and not thinking you can't win a game. Now, come
Yeah.
on now. That's not how you do. And then you're gonna blast. You pretty much, when you're saying that in the press conference, you're pretty much blasting the players as well, saying
Yeah.
we're not good enough to win. We're not good enough to win any type of game. You don't think. I don't never go tell my little guys, hey man, we can't win this game. We're not good enough. I can never tell my guys that, but yeah, you're definitely right. As a coach myself, I would never tell these guys, hey, thinking I can go into a game and game plan and saying we not in a position to win this game. We can't win this game. I'm never going to do that.
It was so frustrating, and he had said Jeff Fisher was known as a guy who threw his players under the bus like quite
Yeah.
often. And
Mm-hmm.
when you actually looked at his tenure, and the Rams did win some big games with him, and they were more competitive. And like, if you compare to like the previous coach regimes, Jeff Fisher did do some things right. Like, I'll give him credit for that. But for the most part, it was clear the Rams were not going to become a like winner organization, and we had talented players.
Yeah.
And then when the Rams, fired, so in the season the Rams fired Jeff Fisher. In week 3, they actually gave Fisher an extension.
Yeah.
And people forget about this. It was infuriating. You were like, we gave him a 3-year extension when like people like Ram fans were calling for his job. They're like, why in the world would we do this? In retrospect, we see now this was the Rams giving him that extension to pay him a severance package because they knew they were going to fire him. Because 2 weeks later, they fired him. And like, that was the year we had Hard Knocks, and we also had All or Nothing. So like you can actually see like Jeff Fisher telling the team, and some of the team was like shocked and they were sad. And I remember Chris Long being really disappointed that they couldn't get it done, James Laurinaitis. But yeah, when Jeff Fisher was fired, it was just like, celebrate good times. Come on.
I like that.
Jeff Fisher's gone.
I like that. I like that.
I remember like our special teams coordinator, John Fossil, got hired as our interim head coach. And I'd be like, awesome. And like Jared Goff lost every game 0-7, like the rest of the season. And I just remember being like, okay, this was it was a write-off year. You knew that once, but Fisher was gone. So it was just like, okay, we're losing, but that's okay. Like, we're done, like whatever. And the worst part about that was we didn't have a first-round pick that year because we had traded to get Jared Goff, right? Yeah. And so then they hire Sean McVay, who was 30 years old at the time, and controversial hire. And I remember McVay's opening press conference. He gave the "me, not we" speech. Yeah. And it was this moment of like, you could tell this is a football guy who gets it. And you quickly learn like McVay, he's someone who hates losing. Yeah. He's very competitive. He knows football. But above all else, like, he just understands the game of football to a very high IQ level. And so he knew how to put a modern offense together where Jeff Fisher just never knew how to do that. Um, he knew how to treat his players, and like after a loss, like most of the time McVay is quick to take the blame himself,
Yeah.
even when he doesn't need to. That's kind of a staple of him. But yeah, he turned a 4-12 team into an 11-5 team, made the playoffs.
Yep.
He went from literally the worst scoring offense in the NFL,
To
like
highest
one of the
scoring.
worst
Yep.
in history. They were averaging like 13 points a game under Jeff Fisher in that last
Yep.
year. And
Yep.
then the next year they were averaging 32 points a game and like
Mm-hmm.
one of the best offenses in the NFL. And you were just like, wow, like what a
Yep.
turnaround. And
Yep.
like there was the one down year where he was still 9-7, but we had a ton of injuries that year. But yeah, like Sean McVay, he's just a great head coach. And anyway, that's my long. I'm so glad
Yeah.
Jeff
I
Fisher
like
was
that.
gone, and then we have Coach McVay. And yeah,
I liked that story, man. That was an awesome story. All right, I'm just getting to the comment sessions. So you got your boy, you got my boy. Got a question for you, my boy AK. He said he just subbed to you. I'm gonna show you the comment in
oh,
a
thank
minute, but
you,
he's a great guy. He's a great guy to collab with, and yeah, he's a
thank
great
you,
guy to collab
AK.
with as well. Yeah, he got a question for you.
Yeah. I see it on the screen. Sorry, I was looking. Yo, for sure. For Stafford,
Yeah,
yes. I is he just asking like, do I love Matt Stafford? Yeah, I'm
yeah.
stoked for Matt Stafford.
I
No, I think that
yeah. Go
like
ahead. Go ahead.
J- Jared Goff, he's a guy that has arm talent. Not by no means like he's not a lame duck quarterback. Like he can make plays, but like Jared Goff's football IQ is his downfall, right?
Mm-hmm.
He maybe not be the most mobile quarterback, but he is a good pure pocket passer. But his like in Madden the
Yeah,
awareness rating for the quarterback,
yeah,
yeah, Jared
yeah,
Goff isn't that high. That's
yeah.
where I'd put it.
I like
And
that. I like that. Yeah.
you know, I think that like you hear a lot of Ram fans say that Sean McVay had to babysit Jared Goff on the field a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
defensive coordinators caught up to that. And there's a difference between throwing an interception down the field than getting picked off by a linebacker who jumped your throw,
Yep.
and because you're staring down your receiver or you're
Mm-hmm.
you know you're throwing it like too high and they know you're throwing it too high so they're able to pick you off, right?
Yeah.
Like you'd rather like not that you ever want turnovers, but like
Yeah.
if someone picks it off in tight coverage and it was like a contested throw, you're like, okay, I get that. But like
Mm-hmm.
some of the throws that Jared Goff had, like it was brutal. And like last year in every single game that Goff played, he had at least one turnover,
Mm.
and whether it be a fumble, and he fumbled a lot, or an interception. And often, the reason we lost was because of Jared Goff, right? Like we were a 10-6 team last year, and I wouldn't say it's because of Jared Goff, but because of our defense and because of our run game and Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. Both of them had over a thousand yards after the catch last year. So like he had these two playmaking wide receivers who get open for him, and then they get extra yards after the catch. But yeah, Goff just for whatever reason the past two seasons seemed a little shell shocked and just unwilling to throw it down the field when he needed to. And yeah, so I'm stoked for Stafford, and I think that when you see Stafford in camp, he's someone who's really hungry for success, and he
Oh yeah.
hasn't had a good team or a good coaching staff around him. And I think in this offense with Sean McVay, he's going to light it up.
Yeah. I believe in Matthew Stafford, man. Like I said, they go to the next comment. My boy AK told said right there. Said he subbed to you, so hope y'all can hook
Thank
up.
you,
So
Eagle Sun
like I
Centered
said,
Podcast.
yeah, he just got an Instagram. So y'all want to link up, y'all link up. He's a great guy. He's a great person to link up with.
For sure.
Uh, I say, man. Again, Matthew Stafford. I'm very happy. He's in an awesome situation with this team. The guy's a 4,000 yard passer every single season.
Mm-hmm.
One season he had a crazy season with Detroit, a 5,000 yard passer. The guy know how to come back, win football games. Big, strong arm, high volume IQ player at quarterback. And like I say again, I mean, To me, this move kind of sense a theme like Jared Goff couldn't get the Rams over the top. He got them to the Super Bowl. That's pretty decent. But now you're in the Super Bowl win now when you make this trade for Matthew Stafford. You're basically saying Matthew Stafford is gonna probably getting us over the top. He's the quarterback that can get us there and over the top and to win a Super Bowl. So do you feel like by what do the first thing, give me your first words, give me your thing, what you thought about this trade. What did you think about this trade when this trade went down?
So okay, let me bring this up here. This is my Madden 03 for the GameCube. With Marshall Falk on the cover,
Yeah.
because that is the only video game system I had. So I was playing Madden 03, and I was in franchise mode, trying to build my team. I was the Rams, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, and I got a notification on my phone that Matt Stafford got traded, and like within seconds, all my
Mhm.
friends started texting me, and I was like, "What is going on?" And so then I tuned in to a live stream that was going on YouTube talking about it, and I was just like what? Because the first thing is a lot of people thought that Goff's contract was untradeable.
Yeah.
And we took a huge, AK and all of the Eagles fans in here, I'm sure can relate to having a large contract that you
Yep.
think is
He talking
untradeable,
about
right?
it. He talking about Carson Wentz. He said he feel your pain. He talking about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
and Goff and Wentz, to be honest, they're two of the most fascinating like quarterbacks that were taken number one and number two ever. Because like they've both like had their highs and they both had their lows, and
Yeah.
like they're not so bad that they shouldn't be in the league, but like they are questionable at best, and like they're just two of the weirdest like top picks. And now like they both got traded in the same off season, like
Yeah, yeah, too. The number one and number two pick. Yeah, that's pretty tough, right? That's pretty tough, right there. We all went through it with Carson Wentz, man. Like I say, it was something that wasn't right with him last year. I
Mhm.
mean, the Super Bowl. It could be the Super Bowl when he watched Nick Foles win that Super Bowl. He did put on a little bit of weight, but god damn, man. Like I say, he kind of remind me of what you said about Jared Goff. What you said about him. Game IQ, if you don't have anything else, you just
Yeah.
at least gotta have the IQ. That's just like in basketball. You may can't do everything else. You may can't shoot. You may can't do nothing else, but IQ can take you a long way. It's just like if you can make shots, you can stay in the league a long time. But if you have
Mhm.
IQ and knowledge, you should hey, that should be good enough. And this guy right here, you talking about a home run hitter that likes a home run ball. That's the definition you talking about, Carson Wentz right there. I mean, loves to throw it deep, loves to impress, shows his arm strength out. It loves to throw the ball in the tight windows, loves to throw the ball in double coverage. I mean, this guy loves to when pressure coming at his face, he loves to go 20 yards backwards, fall, lean forward, get sacked, and fumble the ball. Something that we see them two, Jared Goff, them two, they kind of similar to each other. But the
Yeah.
only thing about that, Carson Wentz has more. He's more of an athletic. He's more of he got a little bit of athleticism. He has a little bit awareness in the pocket and an ability to move around to make stuff happen so the receivers get wide open. He has a little bit of that, but he just kind of remind me of like what you said of Jared Goff. He has no field IQ whatsoever, and that 17-0 game when we got up on the Washington football team and to Carson Wentz through the interception, and that just oh my lord, all heck hell broke loose at that point. At that point, when he got picked off, all hell just broke loose at that point of time, and we just like man, and then he got, I believe, Jalen Hurts started putting some heat on him a little
Right.
bit. He started struggling. I don't know what the issues was, but he started getting into a lot of turnovers. He started having a lot of turnovers and throwing the ball in too much of a double coverage. And he's got taken out of the game. He gets taken out of the game, and Jalen Hurts comes in. He finished off the game against the Green Bay Packers, and then the next week he lights up the New Orleans Saints. By the way, who's the number one defense in the league at that point of time. And it was just, man, like I say, I don't know what went on to Carson Wentz, but he just reminded me of Jared Goff, like how you said it. No, like the IQ is kind of a little bit low, kind of a little bit lower,
Mm-hmm.
little bit for these two guys, man. My boy AK in the chat. I mean, he said he feel your pain. He said he said he said he feel your pain. He said
I, f-
Carson Wentz.
I feel AK Eagles. I feel you, man.
So again, man, what did last year so like if you got a story on like I say, I mean Sean McVay, that Super Bowl year, I mean, like what did you I mean, take me back to that Super Bowl year. What one things you remember about that Super Bowl year that y'all went to with Sean McVay and the loss against the Patriots? What give me your insights on that.
So okay, this is gonna be. Oh, I can't believe I've never shared this story before. But okay,
Yeah.
so first off, that was a fun season. If
Okay.
you would have told the Rams, like Ram fans, because 2 seasons prior they went 4-12, and if you told Ram fans that they were in 2 years going to make it to the Super Bowl, like I wouldn't have believed you. Like that was crazy. It was great though because you had like Wade Phillips come in, really change that defense up. We had Aqib Talib, Marcus Peters. We had Todd Gurley with the season of his life going
Oh
off. Just
yeah,
and
by
it's a
far his
shame what
best season.
happened with
Yeah.
his arthritis. Because people forget Todd Gurley's like a year younger than Derrick Henry, and it's unfortunate because of the arthritis in his knee, he just doesn't have the burst of speed. But like he's still like
Yeah.
he's a smart player, right? Like he's a
Mm-hmm.
smart, good running back. And so that was a fun season. We had the Chiefs Rams Monday night game, which was epic.
Yeah, that was
But
a great game.
you had the controversial call against the Saints in the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl. Um, and so I just remember going into that Super Bowl game. I went to my church Super Bowl party, and I'll never forget. There's like 50 guys there, and hey JC, what's up, man?
JC, that's my boy right there.
Oh,
There we
is
go.
that new logo, JC?
Yeah, that's his
Looking
new
good,
JC, man.
looking good. I like that. Um, but so I was at this Super Bowl party, and there was like 50 guys there, and like at least over half of them were Patriot fans.
Oh.
I was the only Rams fan. So it was like probably 20, 25 Patriot fans, me as a Rams fan, and then a bunch of like non-committal guys that were just like at the party.
Mhm.
And so we're like eating meat, enjoying it. The whole game, I am literally because it was a grind of a game, right? Like it was a low
Yeah,
scoring
yeah. Low,
affair, which
very low.
I,
Yeah.
I can appreciate. I feel like you're like me, like you
Yeah.
don't mind like high scoring games are fun, but like
Yeah.
when defenses are balling out and it's a punter battle, like I can
Yeah.
enjoy that, right?
Yeah, I
And
could. I definitely could.
Johnny Heckard had a 65-yard punt that game I will never forget, where you're like, that's incredible. But I just remember when we lost that game, I had all these Pat fans just like coming up into my face and being like, "Eat it, Ram fan!" Like you like shutting. I'm like, you guys suck. You guys suck. So I shouldn't have come to this party. I did not know what I was going to do. So then, I, anyway, so I drive home, and I was in university at the time. So I go up into my dorm room, and a bunch of people that were watching the game in the dorm, they know I'm a Rams fan, and I'm wearing my Rams jersey with my Rams toque, and they were driving by. They were going out somewhere or something like that, and they honk at me, and they're like, "Hey, Rams suck." And then they lay on the horn and drive
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, our people suck. Like, I don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah. I know how they feel, man. They grind. That's the type of grind game that I love too, man. Like as a coach, I had to sit on the sideline. I sat right down the field with my flag football team and witnessed that type of game. Six
Mhm.
to nothing, 13 12 type of games, those grinded out games right there. Because like I say, when you playing a game like that, you're actually showing what type of team you are and stuff
Mhm.
like that. That you're very this is a very competitive game, and that game was right. That was nothing. It was a lot of punts. I know a lot of people don't like it. Scoring is fun, but when you're playing defense like that, hitting,
Beautiful.
making plays, that's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. And as a coach, it just kind of hypes me up a little bit seeing my team out there making plays and competing out there. It just hypes me up a little bit. So give me a couple of turning points in that game that you feel like the Rams lost momentum and kind of the Patriots had the momentum in that game.
Yeah, so that game we were never able to establish a run with Todd Gurley or CJ Anderson. There the turning point that a lot of Ram fans will always just be heartbroken. Thanks, JC. Um, that always be heartbroken is there's one play where Brandon Cooks was wide open in the end zone
Yeah.
and Goff overthrew him.
Oh yeah, I remember that play. Yeah, I
And
remember that play.
like if he makes that catch and the Rams would have taken a touchdown lead, that's a
Yeah.
very different ball game. Because I believe
Mm-hmm.
that was in the third quarter. It was a very different game. It was a defensive struggle, but yeah, I really think that the Rams could have won that game, but it was a defensive slugfest, and the Pats were able to make that one extra play that got them the TD. Right. Um, okay, I want to hear y'all take who's winning the division this year. Let's go, Rams! Rams!
I'll say, JC, you already know, man. I think you heard my take on this one. I got the Rams, man. The Rams are
Yeah,
very good, man. I'm telling you, like, I mean, it's not a few teams that can hang with Tampa Bay. I feel like the Rams are just as that much good. That Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is probably good all over. They good all over. They good defensively. The linebackers, the corners are very, very good. They're solid. The Rams, only thing people's gonna question is the linebacking core, but other than that, they're good both ways. They're good on both sides of the football,
mm-hmm.
just like the Bucks. So that's a pretty decent matchup, man. That's an even matchup that you can think of, that you can kind of like think of, and I'll say, man, that division is gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. Like the Niners, the Niners, Jimmy G, to me, he's on his last. This is his last year. I know
Yep.
starting Trey Lance. Everybody want to see Trey Lance, and he makes a playbook. He makes the playbook. He makes the playbook more interesting. He can do more things. He's more mobile. And back in this league right now, it's almost seemed like you need a mobile quarterback. That's what it heads to right now. Same thing like in basketball. Hey, it's evolved around shooting, and if you can't shoot, well, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for you to stay in the league. But right now, if you can't move about the pocket, and this right now, that's what it seems. You're not unaffected. But like Trey Lance is gonna be something pretty decent. But like I say, I just think the Rams is good all over the place. I just think they're good. They're gonna be too strong. I just think they're gonna be too strong. But that defense for the 49ers, that defense scares. That defense is scary. That defense is
Mm-hmm.
by far scary. The best defense probably you can probably find in this division pretty much. Probably find. So again, do you think the 49ers has the best defense in the division right now? You think they have the
I
best
still give
defense,
it
or
to
you
the
think
Rams because we
okay,
have
okay.
Ramsey and Aaron Donald, but the Niners defense is no joke. Bosa and Warner are stars in their own right. Um, I think the weakness of the Niners is that secondary.
Yeah.
Just this at those corners, they're they're suspect because they're unproven. Not to say they
Mm-hmm.
couldn't. And I think they just brought in. I think literally today I saw that they brought in a new corner to add depth. Might be just a camp body, but I still think there's question marks in that secondary for the Niners. But that pass rush is real. They have one of the best front
Yeah.
sevens you'll ever
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think Trey Lance will play this year? Do you think he's playing this year at some point?
So here's my thing. I say this as I really am not a biased like Rams fan in this situation. As a football fan,
Yeah.
I want to see Trey Lance.
You want to see
You like
him?
someone who you traded up like your future to get this
Hmm.
guy who's not even going to start like in your rookie year in today's NFL.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also acknowledge the smarter play is go with Jimmy G. If you don't like, if you can have the luxury of Trey Lance sitting for a year, learning how to be a pro, I think it'll probably serve him better in the long run, right? Because like you'd rather he end up, like a Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes than like an RG3, right?
Yep.
Someone who just has like a good rookie year and then he doesn't, truly learn how to be a pro, right? And I think that's the luxury of getting to sit. But I do think that Jimmy G will start probably for at least the first like 6 weeks, maybe into the bye week. But I think the Niners know what they have in Trey Lance. And if they're comfortable with him starting and they give him the best chance to win, Kyle Shanahan's a smart head coach. He's probably going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't Niners win the division? They can win the division.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they can. Like I'm not. I want the Rams to win. I think the Rams are going to win. I am totally biased, and I acknowledge that. But I think the Niners. I would put the Niners as like the biggest, threat to the Rams.
Yeah.
Just because from an all-round team, they have a deep running back room. They have receivers that are very capable. Brandon Ayuk looks to be like a phenomenal, top 10, top 5 wide receiver in the future. George Kittle, I didn't even mention him yet.
He's great. He's a great
He's a
too.
beast of a tight end, right?
Ooh, he's a great blocker too. Yes.
Yeah. So and Jimmy G isn't a bum, right? Like people don't give credit, right? He just hasn't stayed healthy.
Yep. And yeah, like I said, I got the 49ers in that third. I got the 49ers making the playoffs. Getting one of those wild card teams. Get one of the wild card teams. I got them making the playoffs. But then again, like I say, Jimmy G, like, I mean, it just depends on when if Jimmy G struggles or not, is when Trey Lance come in. But Trey Lance definitely, like I say, he posed kind of more of a threat because his ability to get up out the pocket. But then again, like, I'm almost a big fan of giving guys a chance. I think Jimmy G definitely deserves a shot to start. Definitely deserves a shot. I believe he's a winning quarterback, even though he may be a game manager. He may be a game manager. He may be a sitting duck sometimes in the pocket, but he showed that you can win. He showed some winning flashes and playing some winning football behind that good running game and pretty much a great defense. So like I said, I'm willing to give him a chance, even though this is by far his last year. Can't nobody question this not his last year. He would not be a 49er after this year. He will be gone.
So he's playing for his next team, right?
Yeah, that's all he's doing. He playing for his next team, and just in case they trade him, he's just basically going to play for value. But he's definitely not going to be that next year. Everybody can agree on that. It's going to be Trey Lance's team sooner or later. But again, man, I got the 49ers making a wild card spot, man. I'm really pretty. Kyle Shanahan is a great coach. I got the Saints making. I got the Saints making the playoffs. I got the Saints making the playoffs because I just heard they started tasting them as a wild card. Though I don't got them as a division winner.
Did you see the thing with Winston today?
What happened?
Oh man. Yeah, let me see if I can find this for you. I saw that you're gonna love this. Give me one sec. Oh man, where is this here again? Okay, let's see if I can full screen this. Okay, I'll turn the sound off because I don't want you to get busted for it. Okay, see if you can find Jameis Winston. Oh, yeah. So you watch. So okay, some teammates going through. Where's the red jersey coming in here? Look, watch. Here he comes.
I see him. He can't even get up out of there. He couldn't even get up out of there. He couldn't even get up out of the bag. Oh my god, man! He couldn't even get up out of there.
Oh, yeah. When I saw that today, I was just like, I actually am someone who I feel for Jameis Winston because like he's talented, but like he threw way too many interceptions, right? And like I would love it if he did well for the Saints for sure. But when you see stuff like that, you're just like, oh.
Get ready to get to the bag. It looked like he gained some weight a little bit because the
Yeah.
bag, he just got stuck through it. He couldn't get through it. It looked like
Yeah.
they tell me
And,
it looked like he didn't got a little weight gain a little bit.
well, and you see all the other players just making it
Yeah,
through
you
like
just
no
make it through, but
problem.
he the only one gets stuck. Like it just made me feel like he just got weight up on him. He just gained
No.
weight. And like you say, you're right, man. Like I say again, I don't like I say again, like I say, Jamie, if Sean Payton can fix Jameis Winston, I applaud Sean Payton, who's by a great coach. Matter of fact, he's a great coach,
Yeah.
a Super Bowl champion coach. If he can fix Jameis Winston, I applaud him. But again, the same weapons that Tom Brady have, pretty much. Um, Jameis Winston had. I mean, you
Yeah.
just added three guys. You just added three guys. You just added pretty
Well,
much three
Thomas
guys.
is out for a bit, but yeah.
Yo, you just added three guys, and Tom Brady did not hurt the team with all those interceptions. But like I say again, Jameis Winston is kind of no excuses for him throwing 30 damn interceptions in the goddamn season. I don't know if whoever seen that. Someone just let me know. Whoever seen the quarterback that threw 30 interceptions in the damn season. Someone just let me know that stat right now. But like, he had his opportunities. He shot. I gave him a pass on his rookie year. 22 and 15. I gave him a pass on that. He's supposed to have some inconsistency, show some rookie bumps and bruises, but it is no excuses how much he played himself into a backup role. With that talent, Mike Evans on that team, you still had that running back Ronald Jones. You still had Godwin. You still had a Super Bowl caliber team. It just you told me just was the quarterback was the problem was the quarterback problem was the situation right there. And you get Tom Brady who threw 12 interceptions, 45 touchdowns. You add Antonio Brown, who Tom Brady fought to come in, and Tom Brady did straighten up that locker room a little bit. Bruce Arians told Tom Brady, "Hey, you call the plays, man." And he actually let him call plays, and Bruce Arians actually stepped back. Um, and then you had then you had a couple Leonard Fournette coming in now, and give baby that being able to do a little thing, do a couple things as well. And you had that dude Braden outside as a tight end who was pretty good. So like I say, man, you said the starting for the Saints in week one. I heard it was Taysom Hill. That's what I heard. I heard they were leaning towards Taysom Hill. He was 6-1 with the Saints, I believe. Last year he was 6-1 with the New Orleans Saints. He posed a little bit more of a threat than Jameis Winston to me. But even if Jameis Winston does start, Taysom Hill will play. He will be on the field with some packages, running packages, quarterback. He will be on the field, whether he start or not. So again, who would you prefer, Taysom Hill or him or Winston? Who would you actually prefer?
I think it's one of those things that like you have to go risk reward, right? Like I think your ceiling is higher with Winston of like how well you can do, but at the same time your floor is lower of how bad you can do. Where
Yeah,
with Taysom Hill, I think there's a little more consistency. You kind of know what you're getting.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced Taysom Hill will ever be like, a top 10 QB, but can he be like a top 20, top 15 starter in this league? Sure. I think from what we saw with Taysom Hill, he needs a good team around him to succeed. And the Saints do have some pieces there. Alvin Kamara at a running back will always be a quarterback's best friend, right?
Yeah. Give me a dark horse in the NFC and AFC, a dark horse team.
Yeah, so I've been saying this. When I had JC Eagles on my channel I think it was last week, and I said this. Going to stick with this in the NFC. I still think it's the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
I think they had a down year last year, especially on defense. Mike Zimmer is one of the best defensive minds in football as a head coach. And I think the Vikings are a team that their defense will come back this year. And then it's just a matter of, Kirk Cousins, he has so many good pieces around him. He's got an O-line. He's got Dalvin Cook at running back, like one of the best running backs in the NFL. He's got Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, like two phenomenal,
phenomenal receivers. They had great seasons. games last year.
number one receivers that
Yeah,
you're on any team, right?
yeah, yeah. Definitely agree
So
with that.
if Kirk Cousins can like play like at a top 10 level consistently, and he's had some good games.
Yep.
Um, I think this Vikings team could go somewhere because you have the Bears that are rebuilding to an extent around Justin Fields. Their
Yep.
defense is aged. That you have the Lions full on rebuilding.
Yep.
The Packers, who you and I have discussed about how they're a good
Mm-hmm.
team but fragile locker
Yeah.
room.
Fragile locker room.
So
Yep.
that NFC North division, like if there was a dark horse
That's
team
up
in
in the
there,
North. Yep.
it's the Vikings. And
Okay.
if you look at like, no offense to the Eagles or the Cowboys or anyone in the NFC like the Giants or
Yeah.
the Washington football team, I think there's a winner in that division, but I don't see another wild card from that division.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's the beauty of football
Yeah.
is that your team can be terrible for many years, or all of a sudden, oh, this team's great now, right? Like, um,
Yeah.
we forget not too long ago, the Jacksonville Jaguars were in the AFC Championship game and
AFC
lost it for
Championship. Yep.
controversial
And
fumble,
lost.
right?
Yep. 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 Yep.
um, but yeah, so I just you look at the NFC and you kind of have like all of the NFC West, the Packers and the Bucks, who seem like they're in win now mode. And then the Vikings, I would say, are kind of that dark horse team. And in the AFC, I'm going to stick with what I said to your boy and my boy, JC, Eagles talk, is I'm going to say this Pittsburgh Steelers. And yeah,
Okay.
and mainly because of Mike Tomlin. I think Mike
Okay.
Tomlin's a
Yeah, he's
phenomenal
a great
coach.
coach. Yes, he's a phenomenal
Never had
coach.
a losing season.
Yeah.
And in the last year, people forget they started 11-0. Like that's an
Yeah.
accomplishment in its own right. And then they obviously had a rough end to the season, but they still
Mm-hmm.
have Fitzpatrick, who's a great corner. That defense will always be well coached. You have, you know, they drafted, I forget what, is it Harris? They drafted the running back first.
Najee Harris.
Najee
Yeah.
Harris, yeah. I don't follow college football a lot, but from what I can tell,
Yeah.
he
I
was
don't
the
either.
best running back in the draft. Uh,
Yeah.
they're an organization that's always developing receivers, it seems, in
Mm-hmm.
Claypool and things like that. So
Yeah.
I think that Big Ben taking a like he took like I think I forget the exact number, but he took a huge pay cut this year,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
I think that really helped them keep some of their talent. And they're a good drafting team. Now they play in a tough division, but I would put them
Mm-hmm.
as my dark horse team in the AFC. What about
All
you?
right. See, I got this is what I got the Minnesota Vikings because, like I said, in the NFC, we on the same page on the Minnesota Vikings. They are very, even though they
Mm,
had a down season, they are a very good sneaky football team. In that division, the problem is Kirk Cousins. He's getting paid a lot of money. He
yeah,
has some games here and there, but he's got to be more consistent. You
yeah,
got two receivers on the outside, Adam Thielen and just Justin Jefferson, who had an incredible year last year, 1,000 yard year. He had 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns for a rookie. That is awesome. You had Thielen who put up 14 touchdowns, Dalvin Cook who had 16 rushing touchdowns. I mean, hey man, that showed you right there. That offense was very, very good. But it's just, I mean, like I say, the defense has some lapses here and there, but they're still a well coached defense of squad. It just, I'll say Kirk Cousins, I need to see more consistency out of
mhm,
Kirk Cousins. If we can see that, you can see a dangerous Minnesota team. Probably even, when we discuss the Packers with their disgruntled issues, if they struggle at the beginning of the season, uh, Aaron Rodgers doesn't get along with the organization, and Devontae Adams wants to get paid. Who knows? I mean, this guy Ryan Matt LaFleur might start losing the locker room soon, and the issues gonna start to boil over. So, like I say, I got them as a dark horse in the NFC. And the AFC, I'm very high on the AFC, which is we gonna get into the playoff teams, and we gonna pick and choose our playoff teams in the wild card in the division winners in both divisions. So I got the Miami Dolphins. I'm high on the Miami Dolphins.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm high on the Miami Dolphins. I'm a big Ryan Flores fan. I'm a
Okay,
big
talk to
Brian
me. Talk
Flores.
to me. I'm
Yeah,
like I don't disagree with you, but I'm curious.
yeah,
What's your
yeah.
rationale behind
I'm a
it?
big Brian Flores fan. I think he's
Yep,
gonna be
good coach.
one of the up and head coaches in the league, up and coming head coaches in the league. If Tua can show some improvement, which is, I mean, like I said, it was his rookie year last year. He's gonna have some bumps and bruises. He had a shootout in Indianapolis, and I believe they won that game against the Colts last year. And like I say, the guy showed some signs of what type of quarterback he can be. But adding Will Fuller when he's healthy, when he's
Hmm.
healthy, the guy can play some football. The guy can make
He's
some
a baller.
plays. Jalen Waddle, the receiver out of Alabama, who's very good. Before he got hurt, he was leading. He was leading the country in Heisman Trophy votes. That's what I mean. Smith took over. That's when Smith took over that. Then Devontae Parker, who's very good, still very good. Another great receiver out there who had a great season last year. The defense competes very good,
Howard,
and
yeah.
you got a pretty much a decent running back by committee, and you got a good tight end, an underrated tight end, Ogashevsky from the guy from Penn State. He's pretty good, so that's why I'm very high on the Miami Dolphins. I'm very high on these guys. I got them as a wild card team in the AFC. So
Yeah.
I'll
Okay,
say,
I can see it. Yeah. I can see it.
so
Yeah, no. I've just never. It's
yeah,
not that I haven't thought of them that way,
yeah,
but hearing you talk about, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I could see it. Yeah.
yeah. So NFC. Then after this, we don't get to the AFC. We don't get to the schedule. We don't close it out. So after the NFC, who do you got? Division winners, three wild cards team. Who do you got?
Okay, so I think NFC West Rams,
Okay.
obviously. The NFC North, I'm gonna say the Packers, just because
Mm-hmm.
you and I like when you talk about them imploding, that is
Yeah.
speculation.
Yeah.
They still are a good team.
Yeah.
We think what if, but I still think they're gonna win the division. Um, for the AFC or NFC East, this is such a tough division. I'm gonna give it to the Washington football team just because of that defense. And Chase Young literally looks like a once in a generational pass rusher.
Oh yeah, that dude looks
That
good.
he
He
can
looks
win you
good.
games, right? And
He looks good.
I think that that's a good defense. Ron Rivera is a good head coach. Between Fitzmagic and Heineke and Kyle Allen, I think they're gonna get capable quarterback play. I do think we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
see all three throughout the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just my own personal. I think that's. I
Yeah.
think the Washington football
I'd
team
rather see
knows.
Heineke too. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see all three of those quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Um, but I think just because I don't think Dallas' defense is ready to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Dak coming back from injury is a big question mark. Zeke, I think Zeke's still a good running back, but maybe he might be on a bit of decline because that offensive line is not what it used to be. But yeah, so I'm going to say Washington football team wins that, and then I did the North, the West, the South, right? Bucks, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that.
That's obvious. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see anyone in the South ready to throw in the Bucks.
Okay.
For wild card teams, the Vikings. I do think will be a wild card team, and
Okay.
then I think that it will be the Niners and the Seahawks
All
as the other
right.
two.
This is kind of tough for me, but like I say again, the NFC East. Ah,
It's
I
tough.
got
It's
the Philadelphia Eagles in a shocking.
okay.
I got when healthy. When healthy, I got the Philadelphia Eagles making
Okay.
the playoffs. Clearly, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning that division. They're winning the division.
Yeah.
Clearly, they're the best
Yeah.
team in the division. Got those are two division winners. The Packers. It depends on Aaron Rodgers, but now I know he's playing, and you can send you again. We may see some dysfunctional in a locker room, but then again, you got Aaron Rodgers, so I'm not betting against no Aaron Rodgers. So those are three division winners right there. Then the Rams, they're clearly better team in their division. But when you come to the wild card, I got San Francisco in a wild card. I got Minnesota, and I'm gonna go with the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
Because of their offense. If Dak
Yeah.
Prescott can stay healthy, that offense can be pretty lethal and hard to stop.
Yep.
It just their damn defense is so bad. It just make you don't want to trust in this team. So that's that. Those are my three wild cards. I got Dallas. I got Dallas, San Francisco, and Minnesota in the wild cards. And the division winners is the Eagles, the Rams. You got you got the you got the Buccaneers and the Packers. Those are the division winners. Oh, I forgot the Saints. I had the Saints replacing Dallas. My bad. I forgot the Saints. I had the
Okay.
Saints though,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm gonna stay with the Saints because I believe that offense is still gonna be pretty good. My bad. I forgot the Saints. The Saints. I
No,
got the
no
Saints.
worries, man.
I
Yeah.
forgot the Saints. Yeah. So those are my three wild cards: Saints, 49ers, and Saints, 49ers, and Minnesota. So we're gonna go to the AFC. Go
Okay.
get your AFC. Go to the AFC.
Yeah, AFC is so loaded, right?
Yes.
And the Wentz injury definitely affects the Colts a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. By
Um,
far it does.
because I was thinking that division was going to be a bit of a slugfest between the
It's
Titans
gonna.
and the Colts.
Yeah. Too.
But now I got to give that AFC South to the Titans. I
Mm-hmm.
think that the AFC East, the Bills,
By far.
I think the Bills are going to be so good this year.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
scary good. I think the Bills are going to
Yeah.
be. And then I gotta stick with. I think the Chiefs win that division. I'm not convinced that the Chargers or the Raiders,
Okay.
can put up that fight yet. Um,
Yep.
and then AFC North. Oh, that's a tough division too. I think the Ravens win that. I think the Ravens win that division. I
Okay.
think Lamar has another great season. That defense is real. John Harbaugh, always a great head coach. And then
Yep.
for my wild cards, I'm going to put the Chargers, the
Mm-hmm.
Steelers, and I'll. Oh, this is so tough because there's so many good teams in the AFC. That third one, I'm gonna. I know. Uh, See, a part of me wants to say the Jaguars, but I don't believe they're gonna be.
Mm,
I'm not believing in the Jaguars hype, but I think they'll be more competitive than they were last year.
okay.
Um, I don't believe the Patriots hype. I don't think they're a playoff
Mm-hmm.
team. Even though I know people would disagree with me with that. That's a tough. That AFC
That
is
is
so
tough.
tough.
Yeah.
You know what? I guess I gotta give it to the Browns. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
You stole one of my teams that
No,
I was.
we
Yeah.
can
You stole.
share. We
I've
can
been.
share.
Yeah. Okay. So AFC is clearly gonna be the NFC. AFC South is clearly Tennessee. Uh, that the Colts. I mean, the Colts, the Carson Wentz. If it wasn't for the Carson Wentz injury, they'll be a wild card team. But
Yeah,
now that the injuries kind of set that back a little bit. That kind of hurts them. So that's kind of writing them off the map a little bit. So I got Tennessee in the AFC South, AFC West. Clearly, the Chiefs are by far the better team. By far the better team out of all of those teams. The Buffalo Bills is clearly another the better team in the AFC East. They're the better team, and like I say, I'm agreeing with you. Again, I got the Baltimore Ravens winning the division. I think they're a better team. I think their defense is pretty decent. Like I said, I think the Steelers are gonna fall back a little bit, but they still may be competitive. May be competitive because of Mike Tomlin as a great head coach. He's just a great coach, man. I just love the way he disciplines guys. He holds guys accountable. I just love his motivation as a head coach. I just love it. But a wild card, now this is where may struggle with because of the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts right here. I had them as a wild card lock, but now I got to put one more team in. I got the Browns as a wild card, and I got the Miami Dolphins as a wild card. So the next team I'm gonna put up there is I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I'm gonna go with the Chargers as a wild card spot. That team can put some points on the board. Justin Herbert, who's a man amongst boys last year. That
yeah,
dude is really good, man. That's a really good quarterback. 6'6", big, can run, very mobile, got a strong arm. And like I said, if it wasn't for some of the close losses last year, they probably would have done some things. New England, they should have made the playoffs by far last year. They lost a lot of close games last year. They lost against Houston Texans. They lost against them 27-20. They lost by a fumble against pay the bills. They lost at the goal line against Seattle, which they should have won that game. They lost a lot of close games last year. So I'll say again, those are my wild cards on the NFC and AFC. So we're gonna get to the division. We're gonna get to your schedule, and we're gonna put. I want you to predict the schedule, and after that, we'll be up out of here. We'll be up out of here.
Sounds good.
So week 1, you played at home against the Bears. What you got?
Win.
Win. Okay.
Oh yeah.
No, right there.
Stoked for that
2,
game.
you go to Indianapolis.
Even if they had Wentz, the last like 3 times the Rams have played the Colts, they've destroyed them. I'm gonna say win. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Tampa Bay.
For sure. It's gonna be a good game, but it's in SoFi, and I think the Rams take this 3-0.
Cardinals.
The Cardinals have never beaten the Rams under the Sean McVay era, and until they do, I will never pick against the Rams. So Rams win 4-0.
Okay. At Seattle.
Okay. This is a tough one, but it always is a slugfest when the Rams and Seahawks play. But I think this early in the year, both teams could start off 4-0, and I think the Rams. AK Ram. You can look me up Payo time on Twitter. Yep. Yeah. I think the Rams win this first game in Seattle, and Rams 5-0.
Okay. At New York, the Giants.
Yeah, hoping to go to this game if the border restrictions to Canada lighten. But yes, okay. I think the Rams beat the Giants.
Houston.
So again, all love for you, Coachdonte. No disrespect.
Don't worry about it, man. I know we're not gonna be good. We're not gonna be straight.
I think that the Texans aren't ready for this team on the Rams yet.
The Rams.
Yeah. So I think the Rams win. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah. 49ers at 49ers.
Okay, so Rams and Niners always going to be a tough game. I do think this is our first loss of the year, just because it's in San Fran. I don't think I think this is our first loss.
Yeah. At Green Bay.
Okay, revenge game for the Rams. It's in Lambeau. And at this point of the season, I think the Rams are going to be churning. Stafford has a bone to pick with the Packers for his career. And I think that Stafford outduels Rodgers, and Rams get this big win.
Okay. At home versus Jacksonville.
Win. Enough said.
At Arizona.
Again, Cardinals haven't lost them yet. Don't think they're not going to pick the Rams to lose them yet. So Rams win.
It's a sweep. Okay. At home versus Seattle.
Okay, I think Seattle beats us here. I think we split with them, and we have this weird thing where they beat us in LA and we beat them in Seattle recently in the past couple of years. So I think that continues. But yeah, this will be the Rams' second loss of the year, I think.
At Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. I think this is going to be one of those sneaky good games that people don't see coming, that it's just going to be, probably, both teams get over 30 points in this game.
Okay.
But I think the Rams will come up on top, and Kirk Cousins will choke.
Okay. At Baltimore.
Okay, yeah. So this is in January at Baltimore. And the last couple times the Rams have played the Ravens, it has not gone well. Hopefully it's different, but I do think that at this point, it's late in the season. Rams will kind of be resting some players. I think we lose this game.
All right. Last game of the season, at home versus San Francisco.
Yep. So I think that this game will be so important. And the Rams in this final game of the season will finally break the losing streak to the Niners. It's gone on for 2 years. And we will beat the San Francisco 49ers in Week 18.
Right. Okay, man. Nice, man. All right, man. Glad to have you on the show, man. again,
Dude,
man.
thanks for having me,
Honor.
man. This was so fun.
Yes, it was so fun, man. It was fun, man. Man, we gonna hope we can do it. Set it up during the season. During the season.
When the Rams and Texans plays, let's totally
Yup.
do it. Yeah,
Then we can just
yeah,
preview. We can preview the game and stuff like
yeah.
that. We definitely can
Absolutely.
link up
Yeah.
during the season. Shout out to everybody that came through the chat. Make sure y'all follow my boy
Thanks for
Payo
watching.
Time. Tell everybody where they can follow you from again. Where they can find you from.
Yeah, it's find me on YouTube, Payo Time, Payo Time, and at Payo Time on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe to me. But of course, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed to Coachdonte, you got to do that because this guy is going places. And
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yes,
if
sir.
you love talking football, these are two YouTubers that want to talk
Yup.
with you.
Yes, sir, man. It's an honor to have you on the show. Honor to have everybody in the chat. As we say, we go out. Go Texans, go. Fly Eagles, fly. Shout out to Parallel Time. Shout out to everybody in the chat. As we go out. Peace out, chat.
Peace.
Peace.